Let me react to what they have said. Honestly, it's not as if we have fundamental disagreement on all of this, because all of us live it day in, day out. Where the key concern now is that, like Kaman said, that the philosophers have interpreted the world. The point is, how do we change it? We have a situation on our hands. When people were loading civil service, was when Nigeria had money, oil money was flowing. And that's the problem. Now we have been jolted by the recession. To know that things can really go bad. Our value system was driven largely by need to share. And that's what we are still discussing. How much do we share? Not how much do we create. That's what we should change across board. Both politicians, civil servants, even people on the normal street people. We should look at it that how do we create now, not just how do we share. It is this issue of sharing that is creating the problem. Now we want to look at how much will civil servants share out of this money. The money is drying up. The money is not there. And the earlier, all of us, TUC, NSC, everybody, politicians, realizes the fact that we are not going back to era of oil boom again, because technology has improved. We share oil, solar and other alternative energies coming up. There's no time we are going to have it as we used to have it. That's even not adding all other vagaries of life that can happen to oil that we have seen. Is to look at it when this oil is not there. Issue of production is the key to what we need to do. And I want to challenge our various universities. National Bureau of Statistics come up with all manners of statistics. We should be able to determine what is actually the cost and value of labor across board, even for people working in channels. You are here now, you are talking, you are not in the commercial department. Quite all right. But what you do here is what drives people in the commercial department to make money. If you don't do it well, people won't pay. If you do it well, though you are not in the commercial service, it affects them. What should be your actual remuneration based on productivity you are putting in? This should be done dispassionately, not just for civil servants, for politicians, for everybody. If we are able to determine actual costs that we take it to production, you can now look at it that what we are fighting for is called minimum wage. But Nigeria, what we pay is salary, not wages. Wages is driven by productivity, and that's why you see that most of our fundamental error in our way of thinking affects it. Salary, whether you work well, you don't work well, is fixed. Wages, you have to work. If you work more, you earn more. You work less, you earn less. That way, somebody in oil company will not go on street and work because it's driven by value of productivity.
But remember, Ilori raised something earlier.
There's something he just said now. He talked about productivity and also talked about political office holders. Now, wait. Now, when we look at across board, when you are a governor, one of the mistakes they always make is that when you are a governor or a president, you see yourself here and every other person here. That is not supposed to be. Yeah. You are an employee of the people here. As a governor, you are an employee.
Yes.
I had a debate with somebody and somebody would say, you are not a politician. I said, no, I'm not a politician. I said, there's a difference between a politician, for me, is somebody who earns his living through political activities. A governor is a politician because he's paid and he earns his livelihood by being a governor or by being a president. I said, that is for me who is a politician. So now when you talk about productivity, before you were elected, you came to say you want to create wealth. That was the reason why. That was the basis for your election. That was the basis for your campaign. And then when you now come into office, and you are not coming to tell us something different. That is, excuse me, that is where you always have problems. When you talk about these workers, and we're talking about minimum wage, let us define minimum wage. He has talked about salaries, he has talked about wages. Minimum wage is the lowest wage that somebody will earn. Somebody in our company is not bothered about minimum wage. Yeah. An average TUC member, Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, is not interested, is not bothered by minimum wage. We don't earn minimum wage. But the fact is, is our knowledge of knowing that if the next man has something to eat, then I'm safe. That is why you see the TUC and the NSC, there will be an alliance. You will not get anybody who is a TUC member that is resuming job today that will start on 18,000. No, yes. That is absolutely out of it. But what we're not talking about is that the minimum wage is minimum base requirement. Then when you go above that, that is when you now start defining it. You won't be hired on 18,000 naira. I won't be hired on 18,000 naira. But we should want to clear that this is the base minimum where we think somebody can move.
Maybe you are
and again, thinking out of the box. Yeah. He's talking about, you now say 50-something thousand we cannot pay. When I was president, I'm in case they cannot pay. You say some people cannot pay 18. They may also not be able to pay 15,
yes.
50. Yes. But I'll give an example. Okay. Even
when the union. Sorry, that example will come after the break, and then we'll be able to look at the productivity of the politician and the productivity of the ordinary worker. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back. So you were talking about giving an example on the kind of between the politicians, what they earn, and
the normal worker. The example I was trying to give, he talked about productivity. Now, all you need to look at is look at your environment, and you will even also know how productive the political class is. Because if the political class is very productive, we will not be having all manner of issues that we're having. They will be proactive. Because what you expect of a leader is that he needs to see the problem before it gets to every one of us. And that was why we were able to envisage that, okay, why don't we stop talking about minimum wage? I was in that committee and we said, let's stop this thing, and then let's put a timeline to it, whereby we know every 5 years we sit down and talk. And now the challenge coming for the ordinary workers, while I'm even talking, is that even if you come and say, yes, the labor movement is asking for 65,000. Even at times I tell them, I say, guys, why don't we think out of the box? If you offer workers even less salary, and you take away their medical bills, and you take away the education, and you take away the transport. I'll give you an example of the Nordic countries. You pay as high as 40% of your earnings as taxes. But your children are guaranteed quality education. They are guaranteed quality healthcare. You are guaranteed quality transport system.
If not free health.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, you will no longer come, because even if you say you increase salary to 70,000, the woman in the market is also waiting to collect her share. So, I'm just doing an example. So I told my colleagues, I said, let's think out of the box. But in thinking out of the box is that you also need a partner that you can trust, which has to do with the government. So if you cannot trust the government, that, okay, would they give you quality transport? No. Would they give you healthcare? No. So what you now want is, okay, what can I get at the moment? Let me now get it. That is why that kind of thinking now comes up. But if you know all of these things, all of these processes are taken care of, why would you want to worry? I was talking to you about somebody in the oil and gas. You know that the allowance is made for you and your 4 kids. You get money for their education, and some other things are taken care of. Why will you not be as productive as you can be?
Okay, so talking about productivity of the public worker, let's take it, and that of the politician. For instance, a commissioner, civil servant,
also politicians are public workers.
Okay, so a commissioner would have aides. The aide will also have another aide to help.
Yes.
In the same ministry. There will be the permanent secretary who will also be doing something. Then the commissioner will have the black jeep, will have the aide, will also have, all of those things. What exactly is the productivity level of a politician that is in office?
Let me tell you, the way to look at this thing, what I've been saying, I'm not talking as a politician, I talk as a Nigerian who is concerned about the future, because the office we are is temporary and transient. But we'll forever be in Nigeria, regardless of whether we are civil servant or politician. So I've not been talking as a politician. And that's why I'm not here to defend either politician or civil servant, but to look at Nigeria, where at the end of the day, all of us are measuring productivity. I've said it that I challenge our universities. Our universities will even be responsive to the need of the society. This is the time for us to define the role of each of these people. Both politicians and civil servants. And even the farmer. Let me tell you, who is the real worker in Nigeria? They are the farmers. Because they constitute the huge majority of our people. But in all this our discussion, we are not factoring them into the matter. And that's why whatever
they are self-employed.
It doesn't matter. They are also employed. They are labor.
They employ people.
They employ people. They are labor. They create wealth. And that's why, even if you increase salary now to 100,000, why it will not take the civil servant home is that the farmer now will look at them. Because what will Nigeria do if they increase? And let me tell you, this is just any government, forget whether PDP, APC, or any government. What do we share? Oil money. That's the reality of it. Now this oil money is what we are fighting over now is how do we share it? What will be your share?
No,
now,
I don't think is that what
this is key. It's critical. That's not what they are saying, but the practical implication of what all of us are saying.
No.
Sorry, let me tell you. The money we have to pay these people, where is it coming from?
From oil.
It's from oil.
The money that is shared in Abuja every month.
It's from oil. Largely. Now,
are we not paying attention that this oil money is dying up gradually?
That's why I'm emphasizing this, and I'm not talking as a politician, and I'm not talking as a civil servant, I'm a public servant, but I'm talking as a Nigerian, knowing that tomorrow, and it's about thinking ahead, knowing that tomorrow this money will not be there to share. There might even be no more federal allocation sitting again. When the money is not there, there will be nothing to share.
So shouldn't states now take charge and say, you know
that's
what?
That's where, because this is key and critical, that if we say we increase money to 100,000, what are we going to do is that there will be devaluation of the naira. Technically so. Because
it's already devalued.
Well, it will go down further. Why? Is that the government will just need more naira to pay the civil servant. And what will they do is convert, they want naira nominal increment in salary. The value will not increase. That's why I said now is the time. I'm not against people earning 60,000, but how will that 60,000 be actual 60,000?
Okay.
And
quickly, because we are just running down
now. We've got to go now. So we want your last word on this.
The bottom line is, no matter what he's talking about now, the average Nigerian worker is having it rough, and it's going to be worse next year, because irrespective of who becomes Nigerian president, you are not going to sell petrol at, that would be a conversation another. You're not going to sell petrol at 145 naira.
Agree.
So once you have that, so if that happens sometime next year, election will not make it happen now, but it will happen probably after the election next year, at crude oil selling at $70 to $75. And so when that comes up, the Nigerian worker is going to get it once again.
The 18,000 will not even take him to the bus stop, let alone take him home.
So the bottom line again is that we all need to think out of the box and fashion out a new method and a new way to make sure the country survives, then we all also survive.
So your last word.
My last word on...
You agree with him, absolutely.
I agree with him, and to add to the fact that all of us must now look at it that our discussion should change just from sharing to creation of wealth.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner Regional Integration Osun State, Mr. Bola Ilori, as well as Comrade Peter Esele, former TUC President. Thank you very much. Happy Workers' Day next Tuesday. See you in just a moment.
Yeah.